Hi, Casselberrians. It is now time to have a casual conversation for the beneficial good of our community. The show you are about to listen to is called What's Up, Casselberry? And now it is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you your hosts, Andy and Drew.
Oh, and don't forget that lovely producer, Robin.
Hey, listener, welcome back to the What's Up Casselberry podcast. We are at episode number 63. Andy, I cannot believe it. 63 weeks we've been doing this. We love talking about all things Casselberry. Welcome to the conversation, listener. I am Drew. My co-host is Andy. We have our producer, Robin, who helps put our conversation about Casselberry for the good of Casselberry together. And we just want to welcome you to the program today. We've got an exciting, fulfilling, hunger-inducing conversation, don't we, Andy?
We sure do. For our listeners, sometimes we record the interviews before we do the intro and then just patch them together. So we've just finished this great conversation with Luke Ryaba from Culver's, and Drew and I are left salivating as we think about frozen custard and butter burgers and cheese curds. You know, Drew, we just had such a great conversation. We didn't get to talk about the menu much. What's your favorite menu item at Culver's? I know you're there like every other lunch.
I know we didn't. In fact, I just brought my son, and your babies are a little bit older than babies, but they have the little bib that says, "I am a butter burger baby." And I just thought that was really cute. And if you've seen pictures of my boy, yes, he indeed is a butter burger baby. I typically get just a cheeseburger with the fries and some ranch dressing, and then a Reese's peanut butter cup vanilla custard. My wife tells me that the onion rings dipped in the cheese sauce is life-changing. That literally one of the employees told her it was life-changing. So that's her go-to. What about you, Andy?
I like the curds, and just plain and simple like the curds. But we should probably stop talking about this because all our listeners who are listening in the car are just going to turn the car around and go straight to Culver's now. We do have other things to talk about, Drew.
Yeah. Speaking of things that just make you feel good on your inside, it's time for Casselberry's favorite segment, self-appointed by me. It is time for the dad joke of the week.
Hang on a second. Could we talk about feeling good on the inside? Is that what you're going for with your dad jokes?
I am, just some chuckles, just some reflections back to your childhood, listener, when your dad would make a silly pun, a one of those that you just roll your eyes and groan. I'm bringing it back.
Well, I certainly feel something on the inside when you tell your dad jokes, Drew.
Well, here it is. Let's see what you feel about this one. Here we go, listener. Dad joke of the week. I tried to find a pun about carpentry, but nothing would work. Nothing would work. Well done. The dad joke of the week.
Drew, can I ask you a question? How should I respond to your dad jokes? Because obviously laughter's off the table. I mean, how do you want me to respond?
I think just a smile and an attaboy for giving an effort. I'm putting myself out there.
Yeah, all right.
Being vulnerable.
Good try, Drew. Good try. All right, next section. Casselberry in the news. What we got, Drew?
That's right, Andy. We have been working kind of in cohesion on this collaboration, so to speak. I haven't really done much other than give about 30 seconds of my time, but you, along with Lynn Hoppus from the city and some other city officials, recognized the hard work of our local Casselberry police. Celebrating them, the Casselberry police had their big annual awards ceremony this past week. And in fact, I spoke with Larry Krantz this morning as of the recording, and he was very proud to highlight and celebrate the hard work. Crime is down in Casselberry for the year, as we reported. But Andy, you shared some with different folks highlighting the good work of the police. Would you share with us about that experience?
Yeah, you bet. Lynn Hoppus, who has been a former guest on the show and is a good friend of the city, works for the city, was helping to organize the event. And he and I were talking, and he'd heard one of our officers say that they wanted to kind of keep it low key because they didn't think that the community had a good feeling about police anymore. And so we heard this and we're like, what? That is not true at all. How can we as a community just let the police know that we appreciate them. So we got to work on a couple of projects. One was that Casselberry Elementary School, through Mallory Lambert, the principal, and some of the teachers, had their students put together and make thank you cards of appreciation. And so we decorated them around the venue where the ceremony was taking place. So as the officers walked in, they were greeted with honestly hundreds of cards from students saying, we appreciate you, thank you, you make a difference. And that was a great thing from the kids. But then also we provided a little thank you from some adults, some business leaders, some community leaders, some former commissioners, just caught them on video saying a few words of thank you to our police department, meshed that together in a video and played that as well. So as well as receiving the awards and appreciation from the chief and from each other internally, hopefully they felt some love from our community as well.
Certainly they did. Obviously, we recognize that being a police officer is hard work. It's a very service-oriented job. And whoever is listening, would you make an effort even this week if you are driving by or you walking by a local CPD officer, please let them know that they are appreciated. Well done. Today's podcast sponsor is Legal Shield, and they have a little ditty just for you. Affordable attorneys, it's not an illusion. If you've got legal issues, Legal Shield, we've got the solution. Identity theft, you've heard of that. It happens every day. People's lives being ruined. ID Shield to the rescue, we've got the solution. This is just life. What you gonna do? Give Pat Weber a call at 386-405-3595. She can help you. Protecting you, your family, and your business too. Legal Shield and ID Shield, the best protection for you. Check out Pat Weber and Legal Shield. Thanks, Legal Shield.
All right, listeners, welcome back. We are at, as I always say, the best part of the show, because it is the best part of the show, because we get to hear from people who are smarter, wiser, and way more successful than Drew and I. And our guest today is no exception to that. I'm excited to introduce to you a man that you may not have met, but you will know of him. His name is Luke Ryaba, and he is the owner manager at Culver's here in Casselberry. Welcome, Luke.
Hey, how we doing, guys? Good to see you. Good to see you. Or hear you, I should say.
Yeah, we were just joking before we came on air, right, Luke, that we've all got faces for radio. So that's good. But actually, as we're looking at you on the screen, you are right outside your restaurant on this beautiful sunny day. And I was a little bit jealous. And then I realized it's too quiet to be outside your restaurant. It's just a backdrop because there's always people and there's always cars at your restaurant.
We have some fun with the Zoom, that's for sure. You get put a cool background on there, so that's pretty fun.
That's great. All right, talking of cool, icebreaker question. See what I did there? Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it even further. As a cool icebreaker question, what's your favorite flavor of custard?
Oh, boy. So that is a tough question. And it's going to be, it's a classic. Turtle is my favorite. So vanilla custard with novelty hardening chocolate. So kind of like that eggshell chocolate with salted caramel and pecans. So that's something that I just love, the different textures and the flavors and the nuts on there as well. So that is actually my favorite. And that one is one of our top sellers too. So it makes sense as well. But
boom, there you go. Well, it certainly will be, Luke, if we put, Luke's favorite, which is you with a spoon in your mouth eating.
I got to make sure we have it. We got it running every day. So there we go. But you can make a sundae too. So with the hot fudge, hot caramel, and pecans. So
man, this Andy, I can already tell this interview is going to, we're just going to be dying for some Culvers by the end of our conversation. Luke, go ahead, if you would, and tell our listeners a bit of your story. Many people know Culvers kind of originates from Wisconsin, but tell us about you and your family and kind of what's made you.
When it comes to Culvers, I was born and raised in Wisconsin, and we had some family that was involved in the Culvers business. So I was introduced to Culvers at a pretty young age in our area, which is Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. So that's about an hour and a half east of Minneapolis and St. Paul. So into Wisconsin, and definitely got to make sure we recognize that there is a border between Wisconsin and Minnesota. So just want to make sure that's there. Anyways, beside the point. So So at about 8 years old, my uncle and my aunt and cousin, and actually their whole family is involved within Culver's. So that's Gail, Jeannie, and Jeremiah. They owned and operate almost 12 to 13 locations right now. They started way back in the day when it was a risk. So at that time, when I was 8 years old, I would love going to their restaurant, which is about an hour and a half hour away in Onalaska, Wisconsin. And I remember going there and I would get Oreo concrete mixer. For some reason, I was on a shrimp kick when I was 8 years old. So shrimp and onion rings. And that was the highlight for me. And I loved our food ever since I was 8, and I still love it to this day. We couldn't sell it. But long story short, grew up going to visit them and always ask, how's business? So when I was 10 years old, I would ask them, how's business? So that was kind of a funny question at that age. By the time I was 16, I said, I really want to get a job. I worked on a farm that was right next to our house. We grew up in the country, about 20 to 100 acres that we had access to. And so quite a bit of space. So worked on a farm and I said, okay, so that's a job, that's for sure. Then I said, hey, could I work at Culver's? They said, yep, go for it. So that was Easter. About in June of 2009 is when I started my adventure with Culver's. So when I was 16 years old. Kept learning each position, and each made a lot of mistakes, that's for sure, that we could learn from. Before you knew it, I was able to train other team members, lead other team members. And then I was able to lead a restaurant when I was 19 or 20. And that was when the fire started of, hey, what's going to happen next? And I started talking ownership at about, the age of maybe 22 after running a restaurant for a few years. And by 23, we were talking about Florida. And here we are today.
So your family introduced you to Culver's and you've kind of grown up around the Culver family, but now you have a family of your own down here in Florida. Tell us about that.
Definitely. So we have I have 2 older brothers and 1 younger sister, and everybody's in Wisconsin. So I met my wife, Amanda, in 2014, and we moved down here together and married in 2017. And here we are today with our first child at 8 months old.
You mentioned coming to Florida and kind of being in shock of ending up down here. What specifically drew you as a Culver's franchise owner to Casselberry? What about the Casselberry community stuck out to you?
Casselberry would stick out for sure. Our partners and I, so my cousin and myself and my uncle, actually, they love vacationing down here. The Bovey family is who that is. And they love vacationing down here and going kind of that Disney area and kind of feeling out that area. So we actually opened a location down in Kissimmee, but we were looking for something a little bit more residential, something with more of a hometown feel. And kind of the 1792, that commercial revitalization that kind of has gone on the past few years here as you go up was very attractive to a business, I'd say. And a lot of rooftops, a lot of churches, a lot of schools that were, I would say, thriving is what it looks like from outside in, that's for sure. And then before you knew it, we were in it. And that's exactly what's happening in Casselberry. And in our short, coming up on 4 years of opening in the restaurant, and when we moved here in April of 2017, wow, a lot has changed, a lot. And it's happened quick, and it's something to really be proud of and put your stamp. I'm happy to, put a bumper sticker on the car if you need to say I'm from Casselberry, that's for sure. And what we're doing here. So that is, and I'm, being part of that is a really cool thing to see how our community's not only, thrived in a growth standpoint, but in it seems like it's a very wholesome growth. It's not too fast. It's healthy. It's clean cut from what it looks like outside in. And then being part of that, there's so many good people here that are part of that.
Yeah, it's interesting you would say that, Luke, because we feel that intuitively. Drew and I do, as people who live here and pastor here and are connected with the community. To hear that from a business perspective as well is actually very affirming, because what we feel, you've actually kind of run the numbers on, right? Because you just don't go, this feels good, right?
Yeah.
And it's encouraging, that you would say that Casselberry is kind of growing together on a steady pace as a community. What would you say are some of the great things that you've discovered about Casselberry now that you've been here for these 4 years?
There's a lot of cool lakes, even retention ponds, I think we call lakes in Florida. Is that correct? Yeah.
I'm not an expert. I think it depends on how many alligators are in them.
Yeah, that's right.
I think so.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. That's the gauge I would go by. it really comes down to, obviously nature is amazing too, but it really comes down to the people. And I know that's kind of a cliche answer, but it's true. That's where I pull my energy from. And if I'm not holding myself accountable, I know someone else is going to be, that's for sure, in a sense of that field. But it's, there's so many good people that, one, have your back, and two, that will support you. And I think people is what the answer is. There's a lot of people that have a lot of drive to do good in our community. And I think that is, that's so true. And that's encouraging and motivating to do the right thing.
Luke, the first time I got to meet you was actually at our Casselberry Chamber of Commerce Food and Wine Festival, and Culver's was out there. You had your tent. In fact, we were joking that you didn't really want to work it. You'd rather enjoy and eat and drink and just socialize with the great people of Casselberry.
Yeah.
But Culver's is such a critical component of being actively involved in the community with different efforts and projects and partnerships. Is there anything in particular, that a particular project that stands out that you, on behalf of Culver's, is just proud to partner with?
We have quite a few community things that go on. Being involved with the schools is one of the more fun things to be involved in, because of the kids that you see that, like, okay, they got, a big Custard, a smile on or something like that. One school share nights is what we usually do when things get back to normal, that looks like. But so it's from 5 to 8, a certain percentage of sales, all that come in will go directly right back to that school. So by the end of it, a school could be getting a check for 3 hours of hopefully giving mom a night off and dad from doing dishes or whatever it might be. They can come in from 5 to 8, and then, whether it's Casselberry Elementary, Sterling Park, or Winter Springs Elementary, they can go home with a $400, if they really keep at it, $1,200 check, something like that, to go right back to the school. Different smaller organizations come about and say, hey, we just want to appreciate the people that are doing community work. Can we handle a meal? So something simple like that is really fun too. Every year we get with Christian Help. They help do a giving tree. I think is that the Dove tree. We have that where I can't believe the first 2 years we said, let's try to incentivize and get a free concrete mixer. And then we kind of forgot that we did that. And everyone came in and still gave toys. And I'm like, shoot, we were supposed to give you a concrete mixer with that one. And, but the tags off of that tree got taken, and 2, 3, 4 boxes of toys would need to be picked up every single year. And it's just encouraging, because some days when you think things aren't great and you just look at all the giving that goes on in our community, it really kicks you back into shape too. When we do get human, so those type of situations. So it's just cool, really cool.
Yeah, I was reading a quote from JFK the other day, and he said, a rising tide lifts all boats. And the idea is that as one organization gets better, all the other organizations around it get better as well. And it feels like we've got that dynamic going on in Casselberry right now. And so you've come in, and what my perception is, you haven't come in and said, oh, how can we make money off this community, which is obviously important, and business and life, and we get that. But you've come in and said, how can we contribute to this community? How can we become a part of these people? How can we meet them where they are and, help raise the tide so that everybody gets better? What was it about Culver's and your culture that wanted to make a difference?
Culver's culture in itself, from there, our CEO, we've had our founder, I should say, Craig Culver, he always talked about the people as well. And then that was kind of taken on with Gail, who's my uncle as well. And then my dad, of course, and they're, just the different principles mom and dad taught us growing up too. But the people are at the forefront. Yes, we serve butterburgers and fresh rolls and custard, but if we didn't have relationships or people, we would definitely fail hard and fast. That's for sure. Keeping it simple, mastering the basics of, what our interaction is going to be is something that is hard at times, but definitely important. The culture from the top of our, we call it the support center in Wisconsin. You could call with the goofiest question and they would help you and walk you through. I've met a ton of those people face to face, and it is just like being in your grandmother's home, basically. So that culture starts at the top. And then you bring it into your own restaurant. Being an owner operator and having your name on the door puts another level of pride in there as well. So it's like, we're a quick service restaurant, AKA fast food. fast casual, whatever you want to call it. So there's definitely a perception out there of those situations that we have to try to, I want to change that perception,
Mm-hmm.
That would be, but there's a lot of pride as well. And there's a lot of humility that comes with pride that we get to learn. Yeah,
absolutely. Luke, you were definitely well on your way. I mean, the unique thing for me is just even traveling a little bit. And I know Andy would speak to the same thing. Culver's has such a good reputation that when you're in other towns, it's like, all right, if I'm on vacation somewhere, where's the nearest Culver's? Because I know we're going to be treated well and the food's going to be excellent. Hey, without giving too much away, we know Andy's daughter is actually an employee of yours there in Casselberry, and she's come home with some great insight to Andy regarding customer service and care. What are like one or two sort of tips that as the general manager, as the leader of your store, that you kind of impart upon your employees in regards to how they interact with customers?
Definitely. We're working with a lot of younger folks too. So I think Bethany started, 2 months ago. So definitely during a different part of time where we don't ever get to see our team members' faces ever, which is different. So we do definitely, a smile speaks for it. And body language is very important in how we communicate. But a couple of tips that we try to keep it simple, because there's a lot of basics that we do learn in when you start Culver's, but just keeping it simple even on your first day that you walk into your orientation. We take you through the whole restaurant and you say, this is what a day looks like. Each team member that you walk by, you're going to say hello to. So everyone that's on the team, you're going to say hello to. And then when you are done with your shift, you're going to say goodbye to every single person. That goes from the back of the kitchen that you may not ever get to work with for the next 3 to 4 months because you're working up front, but you say goodbye. Hey, Johnny, have a good day. Susie, have a good day. That type of deal. So just those basics and as a leader, you can feel out a person based off of their hello and their goodbye. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh boy, they kind of want to just hi, sneak right to the back and try to do a quick hi, or, hey, how's it going, Luke? Good to see you. Mm-hmm. Oh man, we just won our baseball game earlier today. This is going to be awesome. Whatever it might be. So things like that, or when they say goodbye, hey, Luke, have a good day. Great day today. We were busy, but it was good, or, all right, Luke, have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow. Well, okay. All right. What's going on?
So you've kind of instituted that saying hello and goodbye among your staff, not just to be polite, but so you can kind of gauge where they're at as well.
Kind of use the analogy, like if you go home and your parents are sitting in the dining room of your house and you just walk straight to your bedroom, well, you don't talk about your day or nothing like that. We do want to create a family environment, or you go home and you talk about, hey, school was good. What did you learn at school? Well, the correct answer is I didn't learn anything. That's a joke, right? Of course. But that's the answer that I'm going to expect in about 10, 15 years. So anyways,
it won't take that long. It won't take that long. I promise you.
You walk by somebody, it's a basic respect too. And I went to school for elementary education. Then I kind of switched it to business in the middle of that. And then the opportunities kind of came up where I put college on pause. We are doing elementary education. We're working with trying to help people grow, do basic things in life. And if we master the basics, we're going to do pretty darn good. I think if we have an impact on those younger folks and even our older folks that work with us, that's huge, and how to interact with other people. And I'm not sitting on a pedestal here thinking, oh, Luke is perfect by any means. And I get to learn the most out of anybody from working through this. So that's for sure.
I love it. It sounds like you've really created a great culture. And of course, it's probably unusual. There's not many people who started learning early childhood education and transitioned to business. But I mean, honestly, those of us who are in the people business know there is an overlap because honestly, there's often difficult, immature people that we run into, right? And so one of the things talking to my daughter when she was going through her training, which I love because of what it's building into her, one of the things that she told me was a process you have called the heart process about how to deal with difficult people, right? You have difficult people who don't like the way the burgers are cooked, or Drew and I come across difficult people. Everybody who's listening comes across difficult people. How do you handle difficult people? What is this HEART heart process that
definitely
men's relationships?
And I know there's a couple different answers to that acronym, but definitely, when you come across, just break it down, keep it simple. First, we have to hear. listen to the person that, okay, what is our opportunity here? What do we need to work on? And then empathize with them. Like, definitely that is not something that I would enjoy. An overcooked burger is my worst nightmare. I'm actually allergic to overcooked burgers, believe it or not. Anyways, that's another joke there too. But anyways, so you first you listen, you hear, then you empathize. Then we apologize and say, hey, I am sorry about this happening. It's definitely not our goal is to serve something that is subpar. When we have thousands of people and we do work with other humans, these things are going to happen. Then we react. Okay, what are we going to do to fix this? How can we move forward together? Then we can thank them. It's that T. Then we thank those guests that bring that to our attention. Because unfortunately, a lot of times when we do make a mistake, we won't see those guests for a year, 6 months, or ever, and that hurts sometimes, that's for sure, because you had your fingers and everything, but that's part of that empowerment as well of even teaching a new team member, like, hey, this is what our goals are. Let's listen to what's incorrect here. Even if the guest is wrong, that doesn't matter. We want to get them what's right. So we have to have humility as well when we handle these things. So our pride doesn't get in the way and say, just because this human's not having a great day doesn't mean we have to do that as well. And I think there's something that, I'll have to catch myself and, slow down, Luke, let's not jump the gun. We don't always have to react to reaction. We can slow down a little bit and, what shows more confidence and what shows more things to do that. And I think, listening to that other human and trying to make it right. But some of our best guests have come from the worst situations, believe it or not. Yep. And they really have your back. And it's really cool to see that.
Luke, there's just so much parallel to what you do and what you're about in your business to what Andy and I are about in the people business. Yeah. Sometimes just sitting and having that listening ear, just giving folks a moment to share their story just can go such a long way. So I want to just encourage you and to keep at that. That's powerful.
Definitely.
Hey, you are a humble guy, clearly, and not want to toot your own horn. But we know that the Casselberry store actually recently won a kind of a big deal award. Would you share with our listeners sort of what that was and what that meant for you as well as your team at Culver's?
Definitely. So let's just be clear here. My wife works her tail off in the restaurant as well. Her name's Amanda. So this is definitely not a one-man show. And she definitely is. She is. I'm
Luke, you are not just a smart businessman. You're a smart husband as well. Well played.
Oh, boy. So really fortunate to how kind of God guided us to find each other. That's for sure. So anyways, beside the point. So 2012, there's a Culver's Crew Challenge is what it's called. So all the Culvers in the whole country, which is, we just hit 800 right now in the whole country. And I believe 25 or 26 states compete, and based off of a few different metrics, that are guided throughout the year, whether it's guest satisfaction through different surveys, overall operations, we'll get anywhere from 4 to 10 visits from Culver's per year, just to feel out how things are going in the restaurants. And there's different metrics and things that are taken when that happens. Obviously, metrics that can be measured, and some of them are by feel as well. And what is the leadership like and things like that. But we have Culver's Crew Challenge in 2018 out of the, I believe we almost 700 restaurants at that time in Culver's. We won the best restaurant in the whole country. And we were able to give $50,000 in bonuses to our whole team, which was very, very encouraging. So it was a really cool experience to be a part of, going and accepting that award in front of almost 3,000 people in Nashville at the Gaylord Opry Land Resort. So I think I said that right?
The Grand Ole Opry. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So it's part of Marriott. Really cool, beautiful place. Yeah.
Well definitely done. I like how you started the answer though by saying you basically were implying that the real reward is your relationship with your wife. That was well done. I reinforce that.
Yeah. Luke, I mean, congratulations on that. 700 restaurants in the country, and you were number one just a couple of years ago. It was cool. We're real proud of that. I'm real proud to have you in Casselberry. Luke, we got to wrap up. We'd love to have you again. Okay. This has been a blast, and time just flies by.
Definitely. Most
important question, how can people connect with you?
Oh boy, come into the restaurant. Everybody is as the owner of the restaurant, I am responsible for everything that goes on in that restaurant. But we do have some great leaders in the restaurant, from Jennifer, Bruno, whoever it may be at that time, Chavez. We have a lot of times that we're in the restaurant. So come on by and say, hey, if I'm not there, if I'm in the kitchen, I'll try to wave to you, something like that. I think I missed Drew yesterday, if that was you guys came by for lunch. And I think I was just running around like a crazy man. So anyways, yeah, definitely stop on by the restaurant, and hopefully my wife or I will be there to say hello.
Here you go, listeners. If you mention the phrase, "What's up, Casselberry?" then Luke will give you a free ice water. Right? Can we do that, Luke? Can we do that? Yes. Oh, definitely. If you see me and you mention "What's up, Casselberry," I'll get you a dish of any custard you want. Okay.
Ooh,
oh my goodness.
So just make sure I'm right there with you too. That's for sure.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. All right. Luke, thank you so much for your time today. I know you're a busy man. Thank you for what you bring to our community. Thank you for what you do to our community. We appreciate you a lot.
Wow, Andy, what literally nuggets of wisdom and insight and leadership Luke provided. You and I were talking that just the fact that Luke was so clear in his communication with his employees, with the citizens of Casselberry, and having a heart that reflected the greater benefit of the whole of our community was so evident. And he really inspires a lot in his circle. Andy, would you inspire us listeners of the podcast?
I will certainly try. And to help offer some inspiration, I will summon some words from Desmond Tutu, who says this: hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. Let me say it again. Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. Friends, we're coming out of a dark season in humanity's history. We have never lived through a year like we have 2020, with the COVID and the struggles and the tensions and the politics and the issues and everything that's been before us. But it feels now that slowly, especially when it comes to COVID with the vaccinations and what have you been available, that hope is starting to rise again, that we're moving into a new season, a new opportunity, one that's full of hope and light. So we've maybe been in some darkness, but I want to encourage you. Darkness need not win, because there is hope, and hope brings light to that darkness. Desmond Tutu said, hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness.
Well said, Andy. Thank you. We sure hope, listener, that you've enjoyed this episode of the What's Up Casselberry podcast. We are about having casual conversations for the good of our community. This podcast has been produced by Robin Kepi. For more information, please check out our website. That's whatsupcasselberry.com, our Facebook page, Instagram, or podcast feed, all with the name What's Up Casselberry. Like and subscribe. Tell a friend. Let them be a part of the conversation. Until next time, have a great week.